All right, under the hood. Let's do this afternoon. Monty Mater did another. Well, she did a couple of good things. The lady walking across the women doing a relay walk across the U.S. for women's rights, and Monty replying to a nation-state Christian. That's pretty much what they are, Christian nationalists. Anyone that ever reads the Bible or has been taught the Bible knows the verse, seek the truth, and the truth will set you free. It don't say read the Bible for one certain sect of you to be free and imprison everybody else in your ideals and your religious beliefs. It says will set you free, and that's everyone. Women are not meant to be slaves of men or servants of men, nor are Muslims meant to be servants of Christians, nor any of the rest. The sea that will be no more in Revelations is not the literal sea. The sea will always be here. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 4, generations come, generations go. The earth abides forever. Also, in Ecclesiastes, it says that there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new. This is the same thing. A government to come in like Constantine did, and when the new religion that they called it then, which was Yeshua, the prophesied coming of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And the apostles and his mother, Helen, began studying with him, and then the first thing you know, Constantine takes it over and becomes the first pope, nation state, which is what carried on down to today. We have a nation state. That's all it is. And they're teaching wrong. I'm not political for any political ideology at all. None. I don't care what they are. Because all political factions are imperfect. That's why we have the king is returning in the second coming. It's not just to pick up a few people that made it like it's being taught in some kind of rapture. The rapture is actually, if you want to call it a rapture, is the elect of Yeshua, the 144,000 that will reign with Yeshua forever. The elect, that's who they are. That's what they say. That's what Revelation chapter 7 calls them. And that's what Revelation chapter 20, the first verses say. They'll never taste death. That's what Apostle Paul teaches. They won't taste death. When they're resurrected, they're asleep, waiting, right? Paul says some won't have to die, but will change right away. At the second coming, they just change and meet Yeshua, right? This has been done so many times. It's really messed the Bible up, the wording up. You have to go back. And I've seen Monty do this a lot. Monty Mater goes back and finds the actual words, what they mean, and that's what everybody needs to do. 1601, American Standard Version, repaired and fixed over 400 mistranslations in King James, the original, the one that a lot of people swear to now still, the old King James. We have new revised because of a lot. From 1945 through 1948, a lot of new discoveries was made. And that was at the same time World War II and the United Nations replaced the League of Nations, the last government. It was also in 1948 when Israel became a nation again. And the allotted time, 1,260 days after the placing of the Dome of the Rock on the Temple Mount, that stopped any kind of you couldn't sacrifice at all after that. And then here come the Crusades right after that. Bloody wars. My dog's trying to retire. Anyway, then you go on and you carry this on from when Israel became a nation, and that was the start of the very last generation. A generation so wicked, that it would not pass until all these things come about. 1956, the year I was born, is where your 1,333 days come in. That's Daniel's prophecy, Daniel chapter 12, if you want to go look at them. From the day of the abomination, which started all these wars, anything that causes that much death and destruction is an abomination, and that's what happened after that, right? One religious war after another. This was in the Middle Ages, and it was starting when it was 636. I know 665 something. That anyway, just count back from 1948, 1,260 days, and that's when that Dome of the Rock was placed on the Temple Mount. 1956 had something to do. Oh yeah, okay, that was the start of the 1955 was the start of the Vietnam War, which was 1956, the year 1956, right? Like we say, the 20th century for the 19th century, 1956 was the year of 1957, and 1955 was making the year 1956, right? That was the war that caused the U.S. to change its currency to oil, which led into the situation we have today. So you see how these all click together. To try to get up there and say that we are a Christian nation, we are not. Our forefathers had no, I don't even claim anything other than to be a believer, because all the nations will be ruled by Yeshua, all of them. I posted all that for you guys to see and look at, and so you can see how wrong it is to sit there and say. And not only that, our forefathers was they were running from what they doing trying to put together now, except then was really bad. They were burning people at the stake. They were burning homosexuals at the stake. Women, they just accused them of being witches if there was something about the community didn't like them, and burn them at the stake. It was just, the smell of flesh was in the air. I think they apologized for over 200,000 burnings at the stake, but I think there was much more than that. And the French were doing it. Just a lot of the nation. And that's why our forefathers came here, and that's why they put strict wording on religion. They didn't do this. They said they were encompassing, like the Bible says, what Yeshua does. He's not judging any of the nations right now that's coming. He's here for all the nations, and the government will be up on his shoulders. So you see how silly it is for one government, one president, or anything like that to try to claim that they are somehow the most righteous because they want to claim to be a Christian. What made you think of just one prayer to God? Or what makes you think God will remember your name if nothing you know about him or his son or what's happening is right? He's not going to remember your name for that. And he's certainly not going to give you power and control of the world, which is pretty much what they convinced MAGA was going to happen. That's it. This is their secret thing. They convinced MAGA they was going to take over the whole world and make them live by their Christian beliefs that they think come from from the Jews, but it actually come from a Roman emperor named Constantine and his mother. And those come from the beliefs that they put into Christianity. Came from Nimrod and Semiramis, the queen of heaven that Apostle Paul talks about, that woman in that city, the queen of heaven, and Nimrod, who stole Yeshua's identity. And that's why their towers were destroyed. But this is what you got to think about, and you can't think in terms of a nation. Just 400 something million people in this nation. That's all. And all these billions in the world. And you want to point fingers and believing that somehow God gave you charge of them. And that's not the way it is at all. Sands of the seas will be saved. A great multitude that no man can number. On Judgment Day, they'll come back and they'll live here forever. And I posted the proof of that. Anyway, to know the truth prevents all this takeover of communists and Marxism and Mussolini and fascism and everything in this world they can come up with to entrap you, take your freedoms, turn women into servants, turn men into ungodly beasts thinking they're godly, and turn the whole world into hating each other. That's it for today's Under the Hood. See y'all tomorrow.